Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey Cowboys Nation, today we're diving deep into a story that's been brewing under the radar but could have massive implications for our beloved team. It's a story about the ongoing search for a new defensive coordinator, a decision that could shape the Cowboys' defense for years to come. Now, I know what you're thinking. We've heard about coaching changes before, but this time it feels different. The Cowboys have been meticulous, taking their time, and the current developments suggest that Dallas is approaching this decision with a level of seriousness and strategic intent that's worth unpacking in detail. So, what exactly has been happening behind the scenes? Well, as of now, the Cowboys aren't in any rush to make a quick hire. In fact, they've been doing their due diligence on 9 different candidates. 9, that's a lengthy list, and it shows how thorough Dallas is being in their approach. They've asked several of these candidates for a second interview at the Star, which is the team's headquarters in Frisco, Texas. This isn't just a casual process. It's a clear sign that Jerry Jones and his front office want to get this right. They're not rushing to fill the position just for the sake of it. Instead, they're carefully evaluating who can best fit the team's needs and bring a new level of defensive excellence. Now, among these candidates, one name that's been floating around is Brian Schottenheimer. Yes, that's right, the same Schottenheimer who's been known for his offensive coordination in the NFL, but who has also been involved in defensive coaching roles. Interestingly, he appears to be waiting to bring Jim Leonhard, the Broncos' pass game specialist, back for a second interview. However, that's on hold until after the AFC Championship game. Denver's recent overtime victory over the Bills in the divisional round has pushed back that interview, so we're all waiting to see what happens next. It's a reminder that even in the NFL, timing matters. One moment, a candidate is front and center, the next, he's on hold, waiting for the right window. But why is Dallas taking so much time? Well, it's because they're not just looking for a coach who can run a good scheme, they want someone who can elevate their entire defense, someone who can take the pressure off Dak Prescott and the offense. Let's face it, in 2025, the offense has been a bit work in progress, sometimes needing to be perfect just to win games. In such a scenario, the defense becomes even more critical. A top-tier defensive coordinator can make the difference between a playoff run and an early exit, especially when facing tough opponents like the Eagles or the 49ers. The Cowboys have seen too many games where their defense struggled to contain opponents, leading to close losses or blown leads. So the emphasis is on finding someone who can turn things around, who can implement a scheme that's adaptable, aggressive, and disciplined. Now, here's an interesting twist. Reports from insiders like Dan Rogers of Blogging the Boys have uncovered something quite revealing about the candidates being interviewed. Apparently, there's a commonality among those who have sat down with the Cowboys brass. Dak Prescott himself has struggled against all of these candidates' defenses this season. That's not just a coincidence. Prescott's worst games in terms of QB rating, completion percentage, and overall performance have come against defenses led by these potential new coordinators. For example, his 3 worst games this year in terms of QB rating were against Denver with Jim Leonhard's defense 51-5, the Eagles with Christian Parker 76-6, and the Cardinals under Jonathan Gannon 77-9. These aren't just minor blips, they are significant red flags that Dallas is definitely paying attention to. What does this mean? Well, it suggests that the Cowboys' front office and coaching staff are actively seeking coaches who can present challenges to Prescott, coaches who can expose his weaknesses or at least force him to adapt. This approach makes sense. If a candidate's defense can consistently give Prescott trouble, it's likely that the coaching staff believes this could be a blueprint for how to improve the overall team, especially in playoff scenarios where every possession counts. Think about it, the goal isn't just to get a good scheme, but to find someone who can exploit Prescott's tendencies and help him grow as a quarterback. Let's talk about some of these candidates in more detail. Darront Jones, the Vikings' pass game coordinator, was the first to interview twice and has reportedly impressed the Cowboys during his meetings. His background and recent success with the Vikings' defense make him an intriguing option. Then there's Jonathan Gannon, the former head coach of the Cardinals. Gannon's energy and defensive mind have been polarizing among fans. Some see him as a risky hire because of his previous head coaching stint, but others point out that his defensive schemes are sound and he's willing to adapt on the fly. His experience with a struggling Cardinals team, especially in the secondary, might give him insights into how to build a resilient defense. Christian Parker, the Eagles' secondary coach, has also been mentioned as a candidate. Since joining Philadelphia in 2024, he's transformed the Eagles' secondary into one of the league's best units. His ability to develop young players and implement a versatile scheme could be exactly what Dallas needs. But here's the catch. Prescott struggled against Parker's secondary in Week 1, failing to throw a touchdown and managing only 188 passing yards, which was one of his worst totals that season. That game alone highlights how challenging Parker's defense can be, and perhaps that's exactly why the Cowboys are interested. It's not just about the X's and O's, it's also about how these coaches can fit into Dallas's larger strategic picture. The Cowboys have a roster full of talented players like Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, and others, but the defense has been inconsistent at times. The goal now is to find a coordinator who can harness that talent, tighten up the secondary, and bring more pressure on opposing quarterbacks. It's about creating a defense that's aggressive, disciplined, and adaptable, especially in the postseason where every game is a battle. Now, you might be wondering, does this process mean the Cowboys are leaning towards any specific candidate? It's hard to say for sure. But the fact that they're taking their time, asking for second interviews, and carefully analyzing each candidate's past performances against Prescott suggests a deliberate approach. They're not just hiring someone based on reputation, they're seeking a coach who can specifically challenge Prescott and help him elevate his game. This leads us to another important point, the long-term implications. If Dallas successfully hires a defensive coordinator who can push Prescott and improve the defense, it could transform the team's trajectory. The Cowboys have a window of opportunity with this core, a talented offense led by Prescott, a rising star in Micah Parsons, and a secondary capable of making big plays. But to truly contend, they need a defense that can match up with the best in the league. So this coaching search isn't just about this season, it's about setting up the franchise for sustained success. Let's also consider the broader NFL landscape. Other top teams are constantly evolving their defenses, hiring innovative minds and adjusting their schemes. The Eagles, for example, have been aggressive with their secondary and have benefited from Christian Parker's influence. The 49ers, with their relentless pass rush, show what a well-coached defense can do. Dallas's front office undoubtedly wants to learn from these examples, and their choice of a defensive coordinator will signal their strategic direction for the next few years. As we look ahead, what can we expect? Well, the process could still take some time. The Cowboys aren't in a rush, which is a good thing. Patience in such a critical decision can pay off. We might see some surprises, perhaps a candidate who's not yet on everyone's radar, but who brings a unique skill set or fresh perspective. Also, keep an eye on how the team's defensive performance in upcoming games influences this decision. For example, if the defense continues to struggle in key moments, the urgency to finalize the hire might increase. In terms of the upcoming schedule, the Cowboys face some crucial matchups that will test this new hire's impact. Rivalries like the Eagles and the Commanders will be pivotal in shaping their playoff positioning. The defense's ability to contain high-powered offenses like Philadelphia's or San Francisco's could define the season's success or failure. Plus, how the new coordinator adjusts the game plan for these opponents will be fascinating to watch. Now, let's reflect a bit. It's not just about the X's and O's, it's about identity. Dallas has historically been a team that prides itself on its defense and physicality. The choice of a new defensive coordinator will influence whether that identity remains intact or evolves into something new. Will they lean more aggressive? Will they adopt more modern hybrid schemes? These are questions fans like us are eager to see answered. And here's a thought to ponder. Given the Cowboys' rich history and high standards, will this coaching change finally help them break through in the playoffs? Or is it just one piece of the puzzle? The truth is, coaching is crucial, but it must be complemented by execution and a bit of luck. Still, a great defensive mind can turn the tide in big moments, and that's exactly what Dallas needs right now. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize that this coaching search, this decision, is one of the most critical for the franchise in recent memory. It's about more than just winning a few games. It's about building a defense that can carry the team deep into January and beyond. The next few weeks will be fascinating to watch, and I'm sure each of you Cowboys fans has your own favorites and predictions. But one thing's for sure, the road to a Super Bowl runs through a strong, disciplined, and innovative defense, and Dallas is determined to find the right guy to lead that charge. So stay tuned, because we'll be covering every development, every interview, and every detail as the story unfolds. The Cowboys are in the midst of a pivotal moment, and your passion and insights are what make this community so special. Keep the faith, stay engaged, and let's see how this coaching saga shapes the future of the Dallas Cowboys. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let's continue with the big reveal. Now looking forward, what are the realistic expectations? Well, if Dallas manages to land a coach like Darren Jones or Christian Parker, the team's defensive identity could shift toward more versatility, more aggressive schemes, and a focus on disrupting quarterbacks. Think about Micah Parsons, a game changer who thrives when the defense gets creative and brings pressure. A coordinator who can maximize Parsons' talent while also shoring up the secondary with Trevon Diggs and others could make this team a true playoff contender. But it's not just about star power, it's about scheme, discipline, and adaptability. The NFL is a league where offenses evolve rapidly and defenses that can't keep up get exposed. The Cowboys need a coach who can not only game plan effectively but also make in-game adjustments. That's why the interview process is so crucial. They're looking for someone who can analyze film, understand their personnel, and implement a scheme that plays to their strengths. And don't forget, the pressure is mounting. Fans, media, and even players are watching this process closely. The expectations for Dallas are sky high. Anything less than a deep playoff run will be considered a disappointment. That's why the coaching hire is so critical. It's a statement to the league and to the fans that the Cowboys are serious about contending again. The last thing they want is to make a hire that's just good enough, only to see the defense falter again in crunch time. Now, let's connect the dots. How does this coaching search fit into the bigger picture? Well, Dallas's roster has the talent to compete with anyone, but talent alone isn't enough. It's about coaching, scheme, and execution. This is the missing piece that could elevate the team from good to great. If they succeed, it could set the stage for a new era of Cowboys football, one that combines a tough, disciplined defense with an explosive offense led by Prescott. And speaking of Prescott, it's fascinating that the players' struggles against these defensive candidates might be a silver lining. It shows that the new coordinator could pose challenges that Prescott needs to learn to overcome. It's almost like a test. Can Prescott adapt and improve against defenses designed to pressure him? If the answer is yes, then the Cowboys could be on the brink of unlocking a new level of quarterback play. To wrap up, this coaching search isn't just about filling a position. It's about redefining what the Cowboys are and what they can become. It's a strategic move that could determine whether the team contends for a Super Bowl or falls short once again. The next few weeks will be critical, and I urge you all to stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep the faith. The future of Dallas Cowboys football might be just around the corner, and it's going to be a wild ride. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this coaching situation? Do you have a favorite candidate? Do you think the team is doing the right thing by taking their time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys, and don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. Let's keep this conversation going, and as always, go Cowboys. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news.